go. It's really warm today. The temperature's changing. I'm like sitting over here sweating under bullets, and I'm not even on a set. This is amazing. Anyways, I'm excited for our next guest. As you all know, I am a huge fan of good TV and The Sopranos. I've been watching that since it started. I've never missed an episode. I've binge watched it multiple times. So whenever my executive producer says, hey, want to interview a Soprano? Well, the answer is always yes. And it helps that this is one of my favorite characters. I loved his storyline that they had in The Sopranos. So he's been in a lot of different movies. Amazing that he's been in a ton of movies. When you look him up at IMDb, you're like, damn, he's in a lot of movies. You see him everywhere. He's one of everybody's favorite. Either you loved him or you hated him on The Sopranos. It depends on where you sit in the Soprano world. But I'm excited to bring on our next guest, Vincent Pastore. Wow, I can. Vincent.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
I can see you and I can hear you, my friend. How are you?
Let me get a good position over here. I don't know why it's so bright, man.
We can see you.
Yeah, I know why it's bright, because I should have did this before. I got the curtains open. I live on an island.
Sweet.
You know?
Which one?
It's called the Bronx.
Yes. The beautiful Bronx.
I live on, okay, I can do it this way. Let me see. There we go. Perfect. I live on City Island. It's outside the Bronx.
Nice.
Andy Garcia made a movie about it called City Island.
Yeah, you have quite the amazing role of many roles that you've done in movies, and I've seen quite a few of your flicks. But of course, everybody knows you from, of course, The Sopranos.
Yeah,
you're kind of well known from The Sopranos. So I have to tell you, a huge fan of the show and of your character. And it's my show, so we can say your name. Everybody knows you as Big Pussy from the show, or however you go in the show. And I had the honor to meet James Gandolfini years ago when I was in the military, when you guys were still, I think it was like the first seasons. And he was, of course, a big advocate for the troops. And my first question for you was, what was it like working with James? Obviously, you.
I was in the service also.
What branch were you in, my friend?
I was in the Navy.
We're related then.
During Vietnam.
Yes, I love it. We have a veteran on our show. Look at that. I did it again. I bumped my head.
I served from 1964 to 1967.
I did not know that. That is outstanding. Thank you for your service, my friend.
Yeah. So what was your question?
I said, what was it like working with James?
Oh, it was great working with James. I had known James, before we started the Sopranos, and it was all like new for us, because first we did a pilot, and then we got picked up, and then we knocked off all the episodes before they even aired, so we didn't even know what the reaction was going to be from anybody. And then then everybody started paying for cable, unless you knew somebody.
Yeah. That's crazy. I never knew you guys filmed everything, and then you kind of it became a viral hit.
We did the pilot. Then we got a call that the show got picked up, and then we knocked off 12 more episodes, and the pilot has been always considered episode 1 with the Ducks.
The Ducks, yes. We restarted our. I'll go to 2 screens so we can see each other. We've been binge watching a lot of TV over the last 8 weeks. So we restarted it because my daughter, she's like, okay, I hear you and everybody in the family talk about The Sopranos. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. So we started season 1 just the other day. And I was laughing because if you go back, of course, watching as many episodes as I've watched, it's like, you could see how people fell in love with this. It was like getting all of these other movies that we grew up watching, Goodfellas, taking the mob and putting a different tie on it. And I think each one of you in the cast had a unique role, and you guys really pushed a lot of edges. Even in season 1, I mean, you guys touched a little bit of everything, talking about people with dementia and cancer, and Christopher, if you want to say that he was bipolar, which kind of Christopher for the rest of the show, the series, you could kind of say Christopher's kind of characters everywhere, and kind of leads to a lot of like Tony's decision-making process throughout the show. And, and you guys crossed the bridge with the coach molesting a player, which was actually handled. I think you're all.
I'm sorry, I missed that episode. I didn't see nobody getting molested.
Well, they weren't molested. It was just inferred. And nobody died in that episode either, which I was shocked. Okay. We were all hoping for people to die in that one. And then it comes to your character a few seasons later. And I don't know are we allowed to play spoiler alert on my own show? Since
the show's been out there for 20 years, I think people know.
Yeah, I think they better know.
Big Pussy gets whacked eventually.
Yeah, he does. So what was it like when you read that in the script did you know beforehand that eventually your character would snitch and be whacked, or was that kind of last second?
After we finished airing season 1, David Chase called me and said, I'm developing season 2 because it wasn't written yet.
Oh, wow.
And he said, a lot of work for you, Vinny, but they're going to find out you're a rat. So I didn't know, every time we would go to rehearsal and get a script, I didn't know if I was getting whacked in that episode or whatever until you read the script.
That's that's cool. I mean, and that's what Joe told us when he was on. He had no idea when he was going to get clipped either. It was
Joey's my boy. I have fun with Joey.
Oh,
we did some food show. I can't even remember the guy's name. We had a blast, Joey. Joey likes to drink. He likes to drink, Joey.
Nothing wrong with that. Good bourbon is good. Or are we talking wine? What are we talking? Bourbon.
He likes to drink when he's working. So I mean, sometimes you got to lift him up in his chair. I have my own vices,
So let's talk about. So I've heard this rumor. You have a sauce out, an amazing sauce line. I've got some family in New York, and there we go. Yes, my little brother told me about that. He lives in Soho, and took a picture.
You can't see it.
There we go, right there. Hey,
Vincent Pastore's Italian marinara sauce available in Merrick, Long Island, at A&S stores, available in some stores in Brooklyn, and available on City Island. It's everybody likes it, and everybody's staying at home cooking now. We're gonna go. So people are starting to use the sauce in different recipes, and it's a lot of fun. And it keeps me busy. I'm kind of I have to say to everybody out there that's watching the show. I've been through a lot of things in my life, but this has been the hardest thing I've ever been through. Not being able to invite friends over your house, not being able to go to a movie, Broadway shut down. My very, very close friend, Nick Cadero, I did Bullets Over Broadway with Nicky. He lost his leg. He's in bad shape. It's just who knew? That something like this was it makes you appreciate your life a little better.
Amen.
So, yeah.
And that's
it makes you appreciate every day, your friends, your family. And, I got a podcast that I was supposed to start in March in New York City, and then we postponed it. And as soon as the city's open, I'll do my podcast. I didn't want to do it from my home because I wanted to I used to have a radio show on Sirius called The Wise Guys Show, and I wanted to create that vibe again where everybody's in the studio and everybody's breaking each other's chops and stuff. So we'll be doing that hopefully mid-June. And I got a movie coming out with Val Kilmer called Birthday Cake. Lorraine Bracco's in it as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's good. And me and my cousin Gary Pastore were developing a project called The Lunatics, and we're working on that. So, we keep busy. But I got my band, the Gangster Squad. We can't play anywhere. How you gonna put a band in a bar if you're practicing social distancing? I just don't know how they're gonna come up with the new way of doing things. I'm involved with Screen Actors Guild, and they're trying to come up with ways that we all could get back to work, and it's going to be safe for us.
That's crazy. The fall season hasn't been filmed yet. I mean, a lot of the fall season for TV hasn't been filmed.
No, they have a lot of stuff that they held back, and they say they may not have a fall season in September. They may wait till January, and up until January, just keep doing reruns. And I know they're doing movie of the week and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what I'm digging is I'm watching a lot of because we're home a lot, so you could binge watch on demand. I'm watching. My favorite new show is Hightown. It's all about Provincetown, and I've been watching that, and I've been catching up on a lot of shows that I didn't have the time to see, and I'm also catching up on a lot of movies and stuff, and that's it. That's it. What are you gonna do?
Awesome. I love that. So let me ask you before you go, what would you rate as a top?
I know you got Mr. Clemenza coming on. I'm good friends with his father,
Oh yeah, we're gonna bring him on before you.
Want to hear Clemenza's story with me?
Oh sure, let's do it.
Okay, so I'm doing Bronx Tale, and I'm. You got to really look hard for me. It's the scene when Lilo and Chaz says, "Is it better to be loved or feared?" And I'm the bartender. And Clemenza had a big part of that whole production because he was Bobby's right-hand man. So I was leaving after I did my scene, and Bobby was directing. I say, Bobby, Mr. De Niro. And he says, no, you're going to stand in for Clem for the rest of the day. And I stood in for Clem, and I got a decent paycheck. But that's the first time I met Lilo, and the first time I met Louis Veneria, and the first time I met Clem. And it's a memory. It's a great memory because the movie became a classic. And then talking about my boy Nick Cordero, he wound up doing the play on Broadway. He played Sonny in the play. So that's like, 6 degrees of Vinny Pastore, right?
Look at you.
Yeah.
So what would you rate the top 5? Somebody asked me this question. I put it out on Facebook. I was interviewing you, and I said, what do you want to ask? And, everybody always, so the number one question was, what are your top 5 Mafia movies, mob movies? That was the number one.
My top 5 Mafia movies?
Yes.
Oh, you probably never even seen them.
I'd love to hear them. I love a good mob movie.
All right. Roaring 20s with Jimmy Cagney.
Ooh, good one.
They made, you're saying Mafia movies. Why is it going to be a Mafia?
Because that's what they asked. I said if they could ask you any question, that's what they came back with. I came up with the Gandolfini one because I'm a huge fan of what he's done for veterans when it came to PTSD. As somebody who stepped out in front,
there's so many great movies that involve the mob, but it's not necessarily the mafia. Like American Me with Edward James Olmos is a classic movie. Then you're talking about Johnny Depp when he played Black Mass, when he played Whitey. There's so many great movies out there. But listen, Marlon Brando, Godfather 1 with Al Pacino and Jimmy Caan and my girlfriend, Talia Shire, because she's my girlfriend. I love her. I love her very much. That's it. And once you did a Godfather 1, the rest was history.
Yeah, sure.
And then you got Goodfellas.
That's like a given, right? You put that one.
Then you got Scarface. Come on. It's not mafia, but it's a mob movie.
It is.
Right.
So
let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Who starred in the original Scarface back in the early 30s?
Ooh, shit. I was going to say, I know.
If you win, I'll mail you a headshot signed.
Who was it Cagney, was it?
No, it was Paul Mooney.
Oh, I wouldn't have known that. Sorry.
See? Hey.
No headshot for me.
You ain't getting squat.
I ain't getting shit.
Okay, what movie did James Gandolfini play opposite Robert Redford while he was doing Sopranos? He took a break and he shot this movie. Give me the answer.
That was that prison movie. I can't think of it. Redford's in it.
Come on, you want a picture? I'll mail it to you.
Last Castle.
You got it. Okay, I'll give you one more. What movie did Jimmy star in, directed by Tony Scott, where he beat the hell out of Patricia Arquette?
That was Get Shorty.
Nope.
Oh, it was
Starts with a True Romance.
True Romance. That's right. That's his
Christopher
first movie.
Walken, Dennis Hopper.
That was his first movie.
Whose first movie?
That was James' first movie, wasn't it?
No, Jimmy Goes Back. Jimmy Goes Back.
True Romance. That's
he
right.
He did a movie called Angie with Matt Dillon and Annabella Sciorra. Jimmy Goes Back.
He's
acted
forever.
You ever see that movie that he did with Nicolas Cage?
Oh yeah. Did he have the goatee? What movie? He had like a goatee.
I think that was it, where he played like a porn. He made porn movies and stuff. Jimmy was the best. We miss him so much.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. You know?
I think both sides of the house feel that way with you, as you guys who worked with him and those of us who enjoyed watching him on the screen. He was really missed, and the amazing things he did, a lot of people don't know, and I know a lot of us, especially.
Well, come on, you know how much he would go over. He went over twice with Tony Sirico to Iraq, and then he did a documentary at HBO for the vets, for wounded warriors. Jimmy had a big heart, man, big heart. We miss him. Yeah, you miss him a lot, you know. You know, this is fun. This is really fun. So listen, what time we got here? I know Clemenza wants to
We're going to bring Clemenza on right now.
He wants to cook.
There we go.
There he is.
Hey.
There he is.
How you
Where
doing?
are you, in your house on Staten Island?
Yeah, I'm in Staten Island.
I did the Wu-Tang out there.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, we shot it down there underneath the Bayonne Bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a whole season of Wu-Tang, and we're supposed to go back when things clear up.
Yeah, they were actually filming in Staten Island. They filmed in a couple of apartment buildings right by me, and you know, they were all over. And I think that's great that they came back to Staten Island to film a lot of things. I really, honestly,
good guys, Brizzer, Method
absolutely.
Man. They're all good people. And I'm really glad I'm on the show. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a quick question about your sauce. You mentioned Merrick, Long Island. I worked out in Merrick for years. I worked at a company called Severoli. Now we dealt with.
There's a deli on Merrick Road called A&S.
Okay.
And they came up with the sauce, and it's good. It's doing well.
Where can we buy? Can I buy it anywhere in Staten Island or anything?
Why do you have to pay for it?
I didn't say I was going to pay for it. But because I got a guy that represents like Paisana and a bunch of other things that's got a great connection with like Restaurant Depot that's always looking for things like this.
Well, I don't want to give all the guys' information out now. I mean, we can do that another time. But no, you know what you've got to do. These guys got my email. Get my email. Email me, and I'll give you all the information. You know.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Steve Stripper had a sauce too. We had him on our podcast.
Joe got a Scully's got a sauce. Sharippa's got a sauce. Everybody's got a sauce.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm the only guy without a sauce.
How come Ducky's got a sauce? How come you don't have a sauce?
That's I got a meatball sundae, which is just as good. That's my signature trademark.
What's a meatball sundae?
Oh, forget about it. So I take a meatball, I put a scoop of ricotta on top to look like ice cream. A cherry tomato on top of that to look like the cherry, balsamic glaze to look like chocolate syrup, but it looks just like a little. And I put it in a little ice cream cup. It looks just like an ice cream sundae.
Wow, that sounds good. What do you call it?
A meatball sundae.
Okay. All right. Okay, guys.
It sells, man. It sells big, actually.
Right. Okay. All right. So when did you talk to Daddy or what?
Yeah, he's in Florida. I haven't spoken to him in a little bit. He's you don't want to talk to him about. He's on the beach. You know what his deal. He's on the beach.
You're not fighting with your father, are you?
Yeah, a little bit again. You know.
Well, you tell him Vinny said hi. All right.
I will. Okay. I mean, I love him to death, but he's
right. So now I'm gonna stay on. I want to watch you do your thing, but I'm gonna come off and mute myself so I can watch Eric. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Vincent, for coming on. We appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.